Welcome back to the WGLEU. We are now ready and almost underway with our final game of the day. Tornado Rocks is going to be featured in this wonderful matchup. But before we even talk about the final game, we have to remind ourselves of what just happened. Synergy taking down Virtus Pro. I think everyone's still kind of a little blown back by this. It's pretty amazing. Yeah,
Virtus Pro only managing to win one round on the attacking side on Himmelsdorf. It was a good round, but that was it. And then Synergy just walked away with it on Himmelsdorf, walked away with it on Steps, and you look at that scoreline there, that's not one we've ever expected. Virtus Pro literally not turning up to this game, getting counter-stratted, getting anti-stratted, and generally playing worse than Synergy. Massive props to them.
Well done, Synergy. You can't say enough. When someone does something like that, there's, only one way to put it. But still, the final game of the day, Tornado Rocks up against ASAP. Now, I don't think we're going to see an upset here. I don't know. I'm not sure what to say anymore. I'm a little bit nervous of, expecting anything from these teams after I've just seen Virtus Pro lose to Synergy.
Yeah.
I don't know. But your thoughts on this final game of the day?
I think Rocks are looking very good right now. I mean, coming off a win against Ding, 5-3, and then just about losing to Virtus Pro, 4-5. I said previously that maybe they should have won that one, but they kind of went on tilt, and they actually ended up losing that one on the final map, Ghost Town, the tiebreaker map. But I think Rocks are definitely the favourites going on to this one. ASAP, losing 5-1 against Utopia, 5-0 against Supreme. Two good teams, but I think the scoreline should have been a little bit closer. So I would definitely say ASAP are the underdogs in this match. By
quite some margin. I'm sure the votes might start even reflecting that now, as you guys may have even started to look towards the votes into this final game. If you haven't, obviously this is the perfect opportunity. Melly, where can people go to do so?
Head over to facebook.com/WGLEU to get involved by simply following the steps in the most posting which is most on top of the timeline to make it easy for you guys. Just click the link below, choose your team, and then predict the exact scoreline to actually get the chance of winning bonus codes. And today we're giving away this beautiful poster as well. And it's really easy to get into the giveaway. Actually, I'm not probably. And Ollie is looking at me like, don't ruin that, Melly, don't ruin it. I'm trying not to. It's not easy. It's a very big poster, as you see. But well, follow the instructions on Facebook or Twitter to get a chance of winning this poster. And oh, Jesus, don't do that. Our producer just told us something, and I have no clue, but this is something we could actually forward to the community.
I think the community will know what gun's on there. I don't. I know how much damage it does, and
you don't know how much damage.
I do know how much damage. I don't know what the name is, though. Probably should.
How am I supposed to know it if not even Ollie is
105.
You have to say it out loud because people can't hear our producer, right?
105 millimeters, I believe. Maybe I'll get destroyed, but it's been like 2 years since I played the King Tiger. Come on.
Stop putting poor Ollie on the line. God.
Oh, it's not my fault.
It was actually the best tier 8 tank at one point, and when we first started playing 742, we used 5 on Prokhorovka. It went well, actually. We ended up winning that match, but
you were breaking the 251 strat super early in.
Exactly, man. We were trendsetters with the 5 King Tigers. But it was a good tank, and shout out to my old mate and the guy I used to play with a lot, Uncro. He's the king of the King Tiger with about 1,200 games on it. So we'll see. I mean, the poster's as good as a tank, and it could be worth an investment into the votes.
Well, it's not hard, considering all you have to do is retweet a tweet that's got retweet in the title, right?
Exactly, and share a post on Facebook that says, share this post to participate. And the first votes are coming in, and it's currently 38% for Rocks.
38% to Rocks.
38%.
Kind of surprising.
Wait, 38%?
Yes.
To Rocks? That's it?
Yeah, even 30.
So
I'm just refreshing it on the fly.
70% to ASAP.
Right.
What game have you guys been watching?
They're completely ignoring what I just said, but we'll see what happens. Maybe ASAP have their tactics together and their team together for this one. Maybe.
Well, let's find out. We are live into this one. Tornado Rocks will be on the attack. ASAP on the defense. You guys have bet against likes of Positive, the Annihilator, Negative in there. Really good luck to you people at home. You're brave. And this is seeming to be a more common trend.
A little bit strange that they're sending the T-54 up there. I'm not sure exactly if that's the best decision. I mean, the 251's simply a better sniper, but No, ASAP clearly trying something new and maybe slightly better off the hill and better hold down ability. But Insane is up there. It's a little bit quicker, that tank, so slightly easier. It looks like Tornado doing the classic push up north. You got Streko, who, by the way, had a few issues against Virtus Pro, maybe lost them 1 or 2 games, but let's see if he's upped his game, already taking 19 hit points from reversing negative. Altogether, Tornado, very aggressive out the stops. You know, they like to play around the map, and I think they've got a good team now to actually, you know, look at that top 3 spot in the leaderboard.
I don't disagree with you. I think they've got some extraordinarily talented players who've come into this one. Some who, you know, were championing the 251 and the T54 lightweight before it became more of a common trend as well. So, now that's something different.
No damage. That's so unbelievably unlucky. I mean,
oh my god.
That is so unlucky. The blind shots are unreal.
Here we go. They're going to make some more.
This is the thing, though. It's being shot by
the T54s.
But this is ridiculous, though. 3 shots connecting and no damage done. That's the problem with APCR. It loses penetration over distance, and when that happens, when you're shooting at 400-500 meters, you really will struggle, even against the side of the T54's turret. But still,
that was very unfortunate. That is the oh dear. I bet the worst thing is they don't really know if they you know did or not hit anything, and you know it's. But when they watch it back and they're like, we actually hit them 2 to 3 times.
It would have been nice 600 damage to walk themselves into this game.
A beautiful start, but not to be the case. And we are now seeing Tornado Rocks in some of a position, and they have started getting the cab going. Streko there, the Annihilator, and Negative going to be pulling them into position. And Insane, the player who got boosted up towards the other side of the hill, going to be just laying in some fire. So
it looks like Tornado a little bit more classically than Synergy. More resources up north. They got the T54 in the middle. But Streko immediately taking some damage there. He's not spotted. He's just got to maybe get himself out of the cap. But 2 tanks now in there. Streko rejoins the cap. And he will force the T37 of ASAP to push forwards and maybe get the reset. And you can see Tornado already predicting that and getting themselves behind that building.
Villia is in real trouble, though. He's already taken 2 shots from, I believe, Armageddon delivered 1, and we're going to see Armageddon just seal the deal there as well, only taking 1 back for the cost of that whole tank. And it wasn't even the T-37 that went down, which is more surprising. We still got Dawn towards the south, and really, Tornado Rocks very much drawing the hand here of ASAP. That
was bad news. I'm not sure exactly why Dawn didn't just take the position there, Villia. But obviously didn't go for that one, and now they're down a T-54, so Panasirin got heavily punished there, down to about 50% hit points. And again, Tornado applying the pressure, and it's just a matter of rinse and repeat for them. Apply the pressure, have ASAP come out of their comfort zone, do some damage, maybe take down a tank, and then scamper away, get back in the cap again, and rinse and repeat until eventually maybe they can even go for some sort of aggressive movement. But it looks like they will be able to cap.
Oh, no, backing out.
Not sure why.
Yeah,
there we go. Insane.
That's why.
Okay, fair enough.
From that view, it was just like they just decided not to go for it. But Warzy and Insane did try and head forward, but we're going to see this one being dismantled very easily here. And even though Dawn does get some fantastic information for them, by this point, ASAP are down to 3.9k. They are in a bad spot here. Cephas having to back out a little, try and find some sort of respite. But by this point, they're down so much.
Yeah, almost down and out. Positive takes down Panasirin, and you'll see, you know, Armageddon do a great job. Forsig in the background as well, and the Annihilator just looking to finish this game off. He'll have to deal with that T-32 though.
Yeah, they will eventually have to get over that one. That's still maintaining 1.4k of the HP on the board, but Armageddon will at least find Warzy, and now Dawn is slightly in trouble here, to say that he's positive. Chasing you down that T-54 is always bad news. This guy hits shots like it's going out of fashion, and Dawn sadly not being able to land here. So look at this, that's 2 for 2. Will he hit all of these on the run? I think he will do. Alexander at least will find Zik, but there we go, 3 for 3. There's your kill, and now the final man being swarmed in on here. The Annihilator at the front, Negative at the side, and now Vorsin just going around the side as well, and just be laying in shell after shell, and Armageddon will claim the final shot. 17 made, 12 hits for him there at the end of that one as well. Very impressive play, but I think that went the way we expected. I think Tornado Rocks looked very, very solid on that.
I think if ASAP had hit those initial shells against the climbing tanks of Tornado, it might have been a harder game for them. But you know, as soon as Villiers went down in that T54, I think it was almost game over. The tier 8 tank being lost, and you could see, you know, Tornado putting themselves in the cap, putting pressure on, and then you could see the 3 T54s just surging across the middle. We saw Virtus.pro do a very similar tactic against Synergy, but more towards the south of that kind of field area. And then Armageddon just peaking in a great position. He did 2.3k damage there, so you know, that guy's definitely my man of the match.
So far, for sure. Let's take a look back at that first very unlucky move that was coming out to play, where we saw Tornado Rocks receiving a hell of a lot of these shells. They just, you know, had backed out of it. By that point, 3 shots had been made by ASAP then, and none of them had connected. You could see it was Warzy and I believe Villiers were actually the two who were mostly making those shells, but sadly none of them connected. So it's going to be a little bit hard for them to get over that, I can imagine, when they watch it back. But all in all, ASAP pretty much just fell into the hands of Tornado Rocks, and they looked like every time they started the cap, it got close. All right, 2-3 players come out, and they got the kills every single time.
And the thing is, for the last 2 weeks, we've seen a lot of pressure being applied from the south as the attackers. Now, it's being pushed towards the north again, like we saw in Season 5. But in these last 2 matches, honestly, the defenders have had absolutely no chance, because teams have seemed to got their kind of strategy together for getting the pressure on in the cap with the tier 6 and the tier 8s, and getting tanks to actually crumple and have to get the reset on. So I have to say, maybe the attacking side, maybe the defensive side actually has to change up the whole meta and come up with a more aggressive style at the beginning, not sitting back in towards that trench, maybe even going for an artillery and try something new, because clearly right now what the attacking teams are doing on steps is very hard to counter indeed.
Well, it seems more and more like that, doesn't it? And every single time we occasionally see the resets hitting home and actually doing the job they're required to, but the vast amount of time, by the moment that comes in, they're already down maybe a tank or 2 if they're very unfortunate, and then the attackers can keep doing this. And if attacking team has even an equal to a greater number, while also manipulating the time, of course, by getting the cap going, they have the advantage. And it's just such a hard thing to overcome and actually deal with as a team. So guys, once again at home, predictions, thoughts, votes, hashtag WGLEU on Twitter. We love hearing from you guys, and give us your thoughts on the matchup so far. A lot of you were voting for ASAP, which did surprise, I think, both of us, really. You know, I think Tornado Rocks on paper are the far more experienced side. Let us know why. If you put your vote in and you still stick by it, give us your thoughts on that one. We like to hear from you here in the studios. But Melly, how are the people out there doing? Are they getting involved?
Yeah, they caught themselves, as it seems, and went back to the theoretical view on this matchup by changing their votes to a 58% vote for Tornado Rocks, actually.
That makes sense.
And well, my guess was that everything just got mixed after the past match we just witnessed.
Yeah.
For everyone that just tuned in, Synergy took down Virtus.pro with 5-1. Well, the VODs of that one will be on pretty soon.
Oh yeah, they have to be, because I want to watch that this evening.
Should be tomorrow.
Yes, youtube.com/WGLEU. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's your chance to do so.
Exactly, go and watch it all. And if you want to be, a little different, go back to maybe the previous seasons where we used to see Synergy up against Virtus.pro. Watch that one as well.
Yep.
Take a good glance through. There's some great content. You could even see Stephen casting.
And Paul.
No one wants to see that, Ollie. Anyway, let's get back to the game and back to these teams, the people who are actually talented at what they do. And we are ready for this one to get started up. Anyway, ASAP still on the defense, Tornado Rocks on the attack, and this is a very aggressive lineup we're seeing coming out. This amount of T54s and the 251 to kind of be bolstering the numbers. Are we going to see it put up towards the boost again, do you reckon?
I think there's a good chance. It looks like Tornado are surging forward towards that boost area. ASAP, with that T37 going aggressive forwards, I think ASAP knows that they have to do something about that cap if they want to win this match. And I guess it would pivot around the fact that Dawn, surviving or not, will determine the victor of this match. If he can survive, he's going to be able to spot at that cap, no problem. But if Tornado gets too far up towards A1 to A3, there's absolutely no way he'll go unspotted, because the bushes aren't particularly thick there and they don't cover all your tank.
So Negative making that shot, what does that indicate? So he went onto the hill, made a shot, as just did the Armageddon, they got lit up and spotted. Yeah. Does that indicate that there is that T-37 near to them?
Exactly, you know, when you shoot, you basically initiate a spotting check on the server, and you can see where the other team is. Basically, you can determine where the other team is. So. Great there from Negative, and a little tip and trick you guys should take into account when you're playing those random battles.
Yeah, so they certainly have at least an inkling that there will be a tank close to them. How close does that work to as well? Is it within a certain area they would only work?
Yeah, I mean, as a team, you're obviously going to train this, and you're going to say, okay, if tanks are in the trench, if I shoot, I am not going to get spotted. If the tanks are further forwards, if I shoot, I am going to get spotted. And, you know, just iterate through that. Of course, you've got camo values, and all these teams are playing on 100% crew skills, all 9 crew skills. And you can basically judge where the other tank will be based on those kind of factors. Now, we've got Insane and Panasterian in the middle. Again, ASAP is playing 100% towards that cap area, and I think you can see Tornado are reacting to that by basically completely ignoring it and trying to find a way onto Dawn.
And I really like this. They put so much of a point to be able to find him that it's absolutely brilliant. And they have spotted Dawn out now. And this should be a matter of time before that T-37 does get taken down. There's not too much that really ASAP can do to support this. But all in all, it's just smart play coming out from Tornado Rocks.
Yeah, and I think Dawn will fall any second now as Positive comes off reload. Zik does find him though, but Armageddon in the middle gets nuked down and has to try and retreat. Great play by Insane and Panasterian. Yeah,
those two kind of on a surprise kind of play around the south side, going to be on the flank then. And I wonder if that's going to spur on Tornado Rocks' play. They look like they're looking for another option here. Where can they play towards? They're kind of gathering up towards that C5 area. Where do you reckon they're going to play to here?
Well, they've seen those two C-54s out of position, and they have two options. They basically can take advantage of the fact that they're out of position, or they can actually just push on to the tanks that are sitting up in towards the trench side. But I don't know. Tornado being kind of baited right now is Insane, and Panaserian are just ready and waiting along that line.
Yeah, they are. The Annihilator's going to take a bit of a welcome shell, let's call it, but they are really dedicating so many resources towards this. I'm a little worried. You can see the rest of the T-54s going down south. That T-32 probably won't be able to join them, and the T-21 going up towards the cap in the north. So Tornado Rocks executing two strategies at the same time. They could maybe hinder themselves here, but we'll see. We'll find out. And it looks like we're going to see the brawl maybe towards the south.
Yeah, I mean, very predictable from Tornado, though. Going for the two T-54s, and you could see ASAP were ready and waiting up north as well. I think Tornado would just have done a good job of standing their ground. Clearly, they didn't want to exchange basically 80+% of the Armageddon's HP for nothing. But they've also lost another 30, 40 seconds, maybe even a minute for this movement here. And Strecko's just waiting up towards that hill to actually get in that cap. And, Armageddon obviously doing 2.4k, near enough 2.5k hit points in terms of damage in the last match. And now very close to being a one-shot. He's got to be careful. But Tornado being a little bit hasty, I have to say it. Positive taking the Armageddon spot, and now really they can either have two options. They need to push or they need to cap.
Well, it looks like they're going for the cap to start with, and it looks like, well, here we go. ASAP's back into position, 25 seconds. There is going to be a hell of a lot of fire coming their way very soon. Warzy, Panasin, all heading around that way. You've got Insane there, and everyone else joining them. Vorsinya is going to be in trouble as well. He's tucked up towards the north in the 251, and he's going to have 4 tanks heading his way. A little bit of miscommunication over the railroad line then. Insane getting caught up, but it doesn't matter. Alexander in the T-32 finding Strecko first and foremostly, and Tornado Rocks in tatters here. Zik, one by one going in, spread out, just responding late, trying to keep up with ASAP, and ASAP actually leading this one.
ASAP are leading this one very nicely. They got more hit points by about 1,000, and also got the overmatch here. They just need to keep on going forwards.
They certainly do, but they're kind of being cornered now. There's 3 tanks in a good position here. There's a slight touch of cover for Negative. He's got some good work to be able to be achieved, but the Annihilator comes in towards CFAS. Palasin heading straight on. He's trying to negate maybe the presence of the Annihilator, force him back a little, find something to do here, because Negative now is surrounded. Now they break through the lines, and hopefully they can do that final bit of damage, but look at the HP. It's back all even. They're taking so much for this. For Sin is going to be pushed out position. He's trying to find a second to reload, not going to get it, and now 3 tanks tanks remain for Tornado Rocks against the 4 of ASAP.
Ooh, Armageddon takes a brilliant shot there from Insane as Panis Positive actually takes down Insane. That brings it down to a 3 versus 3 again.
And Positive's pretty far over towards the east. He's not even in this battle, but the Annihilator has to do work here, but he doesn't have a shell yet. Now he does. He needs to make these count. And look at that covering fire from Armageddon. Perfect play, and now 2v2. It's still possible. Armageddon is so low, but the shots are coming in from Positive. And 358 HP for Tornado Rocks. 550 for ASAP. 2v2. Both players on both sides with the T54 lightweights. We've got Positive sitting around 332. Armageddon 26. Ooh, Villiers just peering out, then getting spotted out. Got Positive moving in. Positive might be looking for this one. He could possibly pull someone out, but Warzy doesn't hit the shot. That was a dangerous play to be making. Positive is playing very gutsy here, but 25 seconds. Bearing in mind, Tornado Rocks are on the attack. They have to be the aggressors here. They have to make the move, and here we go. Positive has the shot to make. He can do this one. Armageddon not far away. He has to play this absolutely perfectly, but they're ignoring Positive. No, he's missed a vital shot. 10 seconds, but Armageddon hits it. That's Warzy down, and now 1v2. Villiers is in trouble. Armageddon has the shell, but he gets one connection. Now Positive has to land this. He doesn't. He's missed it. The time's up. Villiers stays alive. And ASAP pick up the victory. How did he not hit that shot?
The angle just wasn't there for him, and he just had the T54 actually in the perfect position to actually bounce that one. But that was one hell of a game for the Armageddon there, doing above average damage. Even when he was down to about 20%, 10% hit points.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely insane 2 versus 2. And right at the end there, I thought, you know, you could see Tornado surging in. You could see they had no time. They had to go for the quickest route. Very dodgy. I mean, Neo, Positive, I mean, he was absolutely insane in that match. Going forwards, being aggressive. He misses a couple of shells. And to be fair, that last shell was just, he hit it, but it was just too much to ask of him there.
What a close game. That 2v2 was absolutely beautiful, but that is what can happen if it comes down to that sort of moment. Both teams, and to be fair, to Tornado Rocks, get my words out, they were trailing for quite some way in that. They were a little bit overzealous, I'd say, with the way they were playing. They were too quick to meet them, a little bit, you know, here, there, and everywhere. They didn't look concise in the movement until those final moments. And here, they wanted to try and meet these guys once they got over, but they're a little late to respond. You see Zik going over on his own first. He's got Vorsinya there, but by this point, Zik takes, what, 2 shells almost for free. Finally, the others join him, but by that point, that's a lot of free damage there.
These 4 tanks should have just surged forwards. They had the hit points advantage, should have just gone forwards and taken them down. They wait back for far too long in the kind of back area of that railroads, and it allows Tornado to get back into the game, do more damage. Eventually ASAP do get the note. They push forwards. They managed to get that overmatch, but you can see some great play, some great individual play from Tornado, brings them back into this game, and you can see there as well, 358 hit points to 550. Villiers and Warzy both down to not one shots. 250 average damage on that T54, 257 and 293. Technically, this should be ASAP's game, but the Armageddon peaks at the perfect time, takes down Warzy, who had 257 hit points.
And at this point, there was 6 seconds left. Now, Armageddon does get the shot. Positive with 1 second remaining.
Bounces it.
Bounce.
He had no other choice. He made the right decision to shoot then. If he had waited till he got around the wreck of the Armageddon, I think it would have been too late and he wouldn't have been able to even make that shell.
You got to take the chance you're given sometimes, and well, sadly it wasn't a good one. It is now tied at 1-1, so we're all even on this half, but still a lot more to come in the way of action and melee. People must be enjoying this one now.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look on the paper, ASAP shouldn't be getting any rounds. Like, I know everything can happen. We saw it today, people. But tell us what's on your mind. Tell us, how do you think this match will go? Use the hashtag WGLEU to do so, to make sure that we can see your tweets, and also Facebook.
Get involved, people. That's what we want to hear. And we are now live into the game. As you can see, we see a little bit of a difference here. We've got the M44 coming out to play. So they've certainly switched something up. Vorsin? Are we going to call him Vorsin?
It's Vorsic, guys. Vorsic from Virtus Pro.
But will we call him Vorsic? He's put a 9 in his name.
He's a noob. Shouldn't have put a 9 there.
Would it be Vorsinya?
He had a 1. The 1 was better than the 9,
looked better,
in my opinion.
But there's no K now.
But what does 9 mean in elite speech?
I don't know. Like,
Is
we
that
used to
even
say
a letter?
Zipnix. We used to say Zipnix. Like, you know, the guy who had the 9 in his name, so it'd be Vorsinya. That's weird. That's not his name, is it?
Yeah, we'll ask. We'll
work it out. We'll work it out. I'm kind of curious now.
But yeah, Vorsic. Maybe if we do half-half, people will see.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Anyway, ASAP are on the attack now. Tornado Rocks on the defense. And this is a little different. Take me through these lineups. What's the purpose of this M44? Where are these shots going? Are they expecting the boost on the other side?
I think the M44 is a good choice because you can, as I said before, you can whittle down the T32, which the defending team will undoubtedly go for. Also good against the A0 tank or the B or the D0 tank, which is obviously sitting up to try and defend that right side. But the thing is, you know, technically ASAP can just go forwards and take this this cap here. Vorsic trying to do some damage there, trying to get himself sorted, but you can see ASAP have all their barrels trained on him and maybe just trying to do some damage towards him. Very, very squidgy tank, that German tier 8 light one. And, well, Tornado immediately starting to rotate. And I think the main issue with Tornado right now is if they underestimate ASAP's abilities.
I think that's a good point. We have seen that these guys can perform as individuals, so we'll see what they can really achieve here as a collective, as now they're on the attacking side. They have to be the ones making that aggressive move or making the kind of decisive play, should I say. And I really want to see the caliber they can bring. But so if, let's say, you're Tornado Rocks or anyone, let's say, on the defending side, and you see you've got that M44 against you, is there any instant adaptation you bring out, or do you just have to kind of hope that you don't get those persistent shots coming through?
Dawn just took a shell and he wasn't spotted. I'm not sure if that was... I don't know how that happened. Maybe there was some team damage. Or maybe he was spotted by a tank that I didn't see.
Yeah.
That was really weird. I did not expect Dawn to take any damage there. But fair enough. But it looks like Tornado are in decent positions, though. If they didn't actually realize that ASAP will be so quick on this rotate, and they might just be caught out here.
Yeah, I don't think they actually knew they hit Dawn at all, considering their positioning, unless it was just someone with a very lucky shot. But Zik's in trouble. He's going to back out. Dawn's down to absolutely nothing. He's been melted into this one. Positive stayed out for that shell. And this is a fight, you know, that we don't often see in this western, kind of southern side. The sheer aggression coming out from ASAP and Tornado Rocks is something very uncommon. And Negative now is definitely outnumbered, outgunned, and he's in trouble. But finally, the backup's arriving.
I love how cool head Negative has there. He doesn't panic, he doesn't overextend, he doesn't run away too fast, but Insane does find a reply onto Zik.
He certainly does. These guys aren't going down without a fight. Looking like they really want to do the good damage here. And who's in the better position in this sort of area?
I think Tornado Rocks have got to be very careful. The Annihilator makes a very ballsy move going forwards. Does get rewarded with a kill onto Negative, though. Kill from Negative. And now you'll see Tornado try and go 3 versus 2.
And ring of roses we're seeing here. These guys backwards and forwards, and now Negative in a little bit of a spot of bother. Cephas has the shell to make. Bounces. Now Negative going to just try and challenge on towards Warzy. Nice little bit of work there. Trying to slow him down, buy time for Warzy to get the shell available, and he's going to have it. They exchange on this one. Negative not going to be rammed down just yet, but there we go. Finally, it took 2 tanks to take him down then.
Where are the rest of Tornado Rocks? I don't understand.
It's a great question, isn't it?
I don't understand what that was all about. It was just like, let's go 3 versus 3. Screw 7 versus 7. 3 versus 3 is better. But you finally see the rest of the firing squad from Tornado Rocks turn up. They've got a lot more hit points, and Panasarian does get caught out of position.
Yeah, he's certainly in trouble there. He's been spotted. You could hear that absolute barrage of shells coming in, but here we go. Insane is still alive, bearing in mind. That's not a great thing in this almost. If he's this close, he can't really achieve too much, sadly. And I think he knows that. He's trying to stay out of trouble, try and maybe do something close with the artillery, and he might be able to do a little something, but Armageddon knows that, well, he's not the target I need, but I might have to take him down if I have to. They can almost leave him in that spot and just kind of try and ignore what he brings. Focus on the other 2 damage dealers, as Vorsic will probably have to take him down now. Just try and remove him from the frame, as Cephas will be picked up by Armageddon. Vorsic finds Insane, and now Alexander and Warzy, last 2 standing.
Such a strange match, this one. The Armageddon takes down Warzy, and finally Alexander left in that T32 right in the middle. 0 shots. 1 hit makes no sense. Damage 0 as well. So he's basically done zilch this game.
He's just been soaking up damage.
Yeah,
a meat shield.
He's been hit once.
A literal shield.
It makes no. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He is a shield, and no, he's not Alexander the Great. So 192 damage will be all he can achieve this round, and Tornado do bring the scoreline to 2-1.
I don't know what to make of that game, if I'm honest, because that was so backwards from start to finish. You know, there was nothing there that said to me, okay, this team's pulling off something very strategic. We saw that strange bit of damage coming in towards, who was it? That initial shot, it might have been team damage that came out from Dawn. Yeah, Dawn took a very strange shot. He got a little bit of damage towards him. I'm not sure who did this, so let's keep our eyes on.
It was already before that. Was it just when they're crossing the middle of the road?
Was.
But no one's reloading. This is what I don't understand, right? You got the T-54 and the T-32 there. Normally when you have an engagement like they do over here, you say, okay, screw whatever tanks are on the other part of the map. Let's just overmatch onto this part and let's win that engagement, and then we'll get the overmatch. We'll have more damage, we'll have more tanks in the game, and we'll win the game like that. But what happens here is you have these 3 tanks on Tornado completely in the middle of no man's land, kind of sniping across towards that T-54 and T-32, which are basically useless anyway. So, really strange match, really strange battle. Maybe Tornado were expecting a counter push or some sort of other adaptation from ASAP, but it simply didn't happen, and maybe Tornado just decided to go and practice their 3 versus 3 skills.
Yeah, it is really odd. There were so many different random little skirmishes. It felt so disjointed. This could be a different map for all I know. You know, this could be a week later on. It feels so out of sorts. It feels so backwards to this. And, well, it was
all
Tornado
sorts
Rocks.
of weird stuff here.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It's probably the strangest game we've seen today, apart from Synergy beating Virtus Pro. So, scoreline-wise, Tornado Rocks did pick it up, so it is a 2-1 to them so far. But I don't think we can bank on that into the last round coming up, because that was so... it was random. It was completely random. That was one of the strangest battles I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was... It's not just me who feels that, is it?
No, it didn't fill in... It didn't kind of fall into that classic flow of World of Tanks 754. So,
No.
really odd game, but I think we'll see, you know, Tornado now have another go to try and defend.
Yep.
Maybe go for something more classic this time around.
Hopefully.
And I think it might have had something to do with wanting to keep that T251 on the hill on the boost all the way over to the right and not take it off too early, just in case they do go for that eastern cap. Maybe.
Maybe. Well, we're trying here. We're clutching at straws, trying to find method to the madness. But regardless, I can't say words today. Tornado Rocks are ahead. And we are seeing that boost again. Vorsic will be placed up there. And, well, what do we make of what ASAP are up to? They're still running with the M44. We didn't really see much of it, but did that just... No. Okay. So he will be put in position. Now, ideally, if you were in the M44, that's what I was waiting to see. If you were that M44, where is your position? Where are you mostly focused towards? What are you going to play to?
The most important thing when you're playing artillery is to make the first shell if you have a spotter. If you don't have a spotter, just get into a position where you're safe and you can actually comfortably get shells off into the enemy team without having to move too much. As soon as you find yourself moving too much or running away from danger the whole time, you're doing it wrong, basically. So you're seeing Insane, an experienced artillery player, and, you know, did a great job against who was it? I think it was Utopia. He did a great job in the M44 on mines, and maybe one of the better artillery players in the league right now. See if he can perform equally well on this one. He did 440 damage,
Very nice.
No, 539 damage, I believe, in the last round. See if he can top it this time round. As very slowly, ASAP makes their way up north and leaving that 251 down south.
Yeah, it's slowly wins the race, clearly. A lot of tanks getting lit up there. Every single one of them going out, trying to get the information, find out where these players are, and I'll say everything happening right now is a little bit weird to me. I'm still waiting for it all to calm down and everything get back to normal, but there we go. That's a little more normal. The cap has started. ASAP going to wind that on up, and Insane still just taking his sweet time around the map.
T-54's got a pretty decent camo value, but it's not good enough for Tornado not to be able to spot it. And that's one of the downsides of picking artillery on the attack. You basically say, okay, I might be able to do more damage than you, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be able to get the resets constantly, and that might just whittle down the time enough for the defensive side to win. So I think for ASAP, yes, they do need to put pressure on in the cap, but they need to be very careful that they are going for that damage game at the end of the day. And forcing Tornado to make mistakes is a pretty hard thing to do. I mean, obviously a new team, previously called Polite People, they do look like one of the better teams in the league, and they are very assertive. They always want to go forward, they always want to be aggressive, and we've seen that time and time again as they do decide to go for that aggressive move up north.
Yeah, and here we go. Let's see if they can actually make this count. So the tank has vacated the cap circle, and they will be crossing over those railroads in towards that north side. And we can see Panasin waiting. And let's see, here we go. Here's that cross coming into the action. And let's see if it goes their favor. We saw ASAP doing this on their defending side, and it actually worked out in their favor to a degree. But this time, a lot more caution is being given. But Panassin in a real lot of trouble there. Warzy's going to help him out by at least taking down Positive. But look at this play. This is far more reserved from ASAP, and it's actually working.
This is working very, very well for ASAP. They're just peeking over the railroads, doing some great damage, getting back, and Panassin is still alive as negative falls.
This is very nicely done by ASAP. They are just ahead in that overall HP, and considering one of their tanks alive is the M44, that is quite impressive. Tornado Rocks are down to 3 players. Vorsey gets swept aside, and now Armageddon and Streko, the last 2 standing, and they are not in a position to help this one out.
No, T32 was trying to do damage from the back, but Zen Alexander is going to go forwards and go 1 versus 1 against Armageddon. Both seem to be using the 90mm, and of course Streko in that 5916 last tier 6 alive, the only tier 6 alive. But yeah, this is game over. ASAP clearly with a massive advantage, only having lost 1 tank this round, as they do decide to collapse on this last T32.
Yep, and here we go. See Fast and Dawn. Okay, moving in, Warzy claims Streko in the background. And Armageddon, the last tank to fall. The burly T32 taking his time like a wild beast, finally being caught up. And there we have it. Great work from Insane. 1.2k damage there in that M44. You said before, he really did stand out to you as an artillery player. Seems he's done that again. That
was a perfect position for him as well, because the more in front the tanks are when you're playing artillery, the easier it is to hit. So if you can stay unspotted, be like 300 meters, 200 meters away from them, and not be too far away from your protective tanks, you can do a great job there, and he gave his team the advantage. But super strange move from Tornado, a little bit lackluster and a little bit knee-jerk. They didn't need to push over because the other team didn't have a tank that could cap. They decided to go for it, and all ASAP needed to do was peek those railroads, make the shells, do some damage, and Positive fell so early on. Actually, in my opinion, the star player from Tornado, that they really couldn't do very much, and when he fell, I think it was already game over, and Panasirian doing a great job to stay alive as well.
Yeah, very impressed with ASAP so far. The votes even evening out as well. Melly, the people at home seemingly just, you know, sitting on the fence in this, and I don't blame them.
Absolutely. I mean, on paper, that game was pretty much lost for ASAP after losing the last 2 matches, and Rox being a phenomenally strong team. But now it's equal, and the second map will tell us more, hopefully. But usually, you guys at home do know more already. Use the hashtag WGLEU to share it with us, to tell us what's on your mind, or even if you have questions. Our experts are happy to help you out with answers, and I will forward your questions towards them. And of course, don't forget to get involved in our giveaway today. We are giving away this awesome poster. I'm not going to unfold it again. I'll show it later. Okay, I'm going to. I'm trying not to break it. There it is, a beautiful tank, a beautiful piece of art, and you can have it by simply sharing the tweet that says, by retweeting the tweet that says retweet me and sharing the post that says share me on facebook.com/WGLEU. And of course, the team vote. Don't forget the team vote. It's still running. It will close as soon as we enter the second map, and currently it's 60% for Rox still, so let's see how it goes. People, as said, you still have time to vote. We will be heading into a short break, and use that time wisely.
Welcome back to the WGLEU. Is time for what could possibly be the final map here. We're going to be going into Himmelsdorf any second now. The teams are just getting themselves prepared. Of course, it's ASAP up against Tornado Rocks, and so far it is pretty much as close as it can get. It's all tied up.
Yeah, very interesting rounds on Steps, our first map. I mean, 2 on attack, 2 on defense, going backwards and forwards. We saw ASAP with some very strange tactics, and with Tornado being all over the place in many respects. So a great first map.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. And do excuse the water bottle. It's very hot here in Cologne. It's ridiculously
like 30
warm.
degree outside. We're not used to this as English people.
We
We're not even in the sun and we're burning.
Exactly, we don't deal with it well, so do bear with us when we get a little bit, flustered here. But no, it was a great first map. It was nice to see these two playing out. Very unique, I'd say, is the nicest way to describe it. It was very unorthodox, I'd say. But regardless, it was a good game to watch. So hopefully you guys at home are enjoying it as well. But Melly, of course, you're the one who's in contact with the masses out there. How have they been finding it so far?
They're confused. They're confused, just as me. And they're, of course, happy. The ASAP fan base is happy to see ASAP keeping on to Rocks, if I get my words together. And yes, people get involved.
Well, it's time to get ready for map number 2 in the final game of the day. It's Himmelsdorf, and we are live into this one. 2-2 is the current scoreline. Out there, guys at home, once again, tweet out this link. Get excited for this one, because these two teams are about to battle it out. And in the north in red, it's going to be Tornado Rocks. In the south in blue, it's ASAP. And what are we seeing so far?
Well, if I was Tornado Rocks, I'd be very worried, because the last time they played this map, they managed to lose 3 rounds in a row against Virtus Pro. So definitely going to be scared, but hopefully they've gone and trained it and practiced it and made sure that they've actually corrected some of the mistakes. And the last time they just played too passively, they let Virtus Pro do their aggressive tactics, they got caught out and almost gifted them 3 rounds. This time they're going forwards, they're definitely wanting to make something happen, and obviously this time Streko doesn't get killed within the first few seconds.
You said that and then there was a shot and I got nervous. I was like, oh no, but still. It's it seems like a new trend almost. Well, not a trend, but on the defending side, teams really wanting to gain some map control here. Insane. All eyes on you at the moment, but they do seem to want to get map control. Virtus Pro, of course, was a team that put a lot of strain towards it. We've seen others consistently push through as well. And is this just trying to keep themselves in this battle, keep themselves in this map and not give up too much room? Exactly.
They're trying to get every angle. I think that MX 5100 down south is a safe bet, because you can get it down there pretty quickly. And it kind of opens up a lot of doors. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Tornado Rocks head towards that one, or at least use the 5100 to try and rotate back around and come from behind the pushing ASAP tanks. But they are very drawn out, full stop. I mean, Streko's going to be basically positioned on the hill, and you'll see those 2 IS3s that immediately react as soon as Tornado, as soon as ASAP do decide to push off. But it really does depend on how quickly ASAP does this, and if Tornado actually manage to get themselves into decent defensive positions, because as soon as ASAP push off that hill, there's no stopping them.
There certainly isn't. Insane took at least a shot there. We're seeing Armageddon look like he's not pushing down the A line, but he's certainly close to it. The Annihilator also pushed himself down that 3 line towards G3. And as you said, keep your eyes on that hill. A lot of tanks there. They're starting to get spotted out, though. Streko doing his job. But as you said, there's a lot of tanks coming his way very soon.
I think Streko will have to be running now. I think he spotted one. No, he hasn't spotted anyone. He actually peeked at the wrong time, but he did see that shell and the charge of the 3 tier 8 tanks, the 2 IS3s and the 5100s. Now, this execution all depends on how quickly that 5100 towards the left can get in position, and if maybe Tornado decide to go for Insane in the IS3.
Oh, and Positive is getting absolutely destroyed, down 800 HP after that engagement with Alexander. But Alexander does at least get one back from across the map, down from that IS3. But we are seeing that push from ASAP. They are already in the base almost. They are heading straight down the A-line, and Armageddon is backed into a corner.
He's on his own. He's going to be taken down very quickly, but Tornado are mobilizing up north.
They certainly are. They're looking to try and build some sort of counterforces here, because Armageddon is being beaten up, and Panderson just the one to steal the deal. But let's see what the rest of Tornado Rocks do here.
The problem there was that Positive basically took so much damage from Alexander up until towards the hill. He basically couldn't defend the Armageddon in his hull down position. So it's given ASAP a great entry into this map, and I don't see really Tornado coming back from this unless they do something extraordinary and they get some free damage.
Oh, that was nice work though. Alexander there just picking up Streko as well. Just good positioning and picking off the kind of easier targets the Tornado Rocks have kind of left stranded throughout this map. We're seeing another player who was caught on that D-line. He does have support though from the Annihilator and Negative. That's positive, and look at that, Vilea having to commit to this. He's got one shot, he makes the most of it, a straight up exchange. Positive and Negative kind of making the most of each other's deaths and one of them staying alive out of it. However, looking at this now, we are seeing a strong advantage on HP towards Tornado Rocks.
Not that strong.
Yeah, very true actually saying that. 5.2k against 4.8 now. It's not the best in the world. And you're seeing
Zig does get caught out there. I think he should have just pushed around because he must have seen the overmatch from the other side.
Yeah, and now it's becoming a little bit of a worrying sight. Vorsic trying to keep himself tucked in the corner, and Negative and the Annihilator staying in here. Going to try and weather the storm. One shot comes in from the back. Insane turns around, Negative's down to a one shot. It looks like ASAP are on the right path here. It's a 4v2. Even though the HP is there with Tornado Rocks, they are on par, they are leading. But can Vorsic go big? The Annihilator is backed into a corner. He's trying to fight his way out. Vorsic steps up again though. Alexander goes down. And now IS3 against IS3. I think it's a 5100 against a 5100. This is a great battle.
The thing is, Vorsic has actually got his Amarak taken down, so it's all about who actually unclips first, and Warzy is only 3 seconds away.
Oh, Warzy, let's see what you got, buddy. You better make this one count here. Oh, it doesn't even make the connection he needed. Now the Annihilator still in this. Panasin.
Yeah, he's just going to go in.
Great move there, and Vorsic doesn't have the shells available. He's still got 55 seconds on this, and there we go. Great combination of those two, Warzy and Panasin coming in together. Vorsic had no option then.
Yeah, that's the thing with the 5100. If you get caught in the wrong position without any shells in your autoloader, if you get the timing even slightly off, you're left with a tank that basically has to reload for 50 seconds, and in the case of Vorsic, 100 seconds, because your reload gets doubled when your Amarak goes down, so he's just got to run.
But does he have time to reload and reset? 21 seconds on the reload.
He has time to get the reload and reset this one for sure. But you know, 390 average damage from Warzy, 300 damage from Panasterin. You're talking about 3 shells and he'll be out.
Let's see if he can do this.
No, 3 shells, 2 shells. Maths.
Oh, Vorsic, think of your options here. Come on. 2 tanks. Resets he needs aplenty. He has all shells available now. 13 seconds to make them. The IS3 and the 5100 will be positioned well behind each other, but Vorsic, a veteran, looking for this one. Here we go around the corner. Gonna just peer in. Spots out, then on the right. He's got 5 seconds, Vorsic. You've got to make your move, buddy. 3 seconds left. Vorsic still checking on the right. He was so adamant they were there. But now he's got 1 second. Great work from Vorsic. And I think just in the nick of time.
0 seconds. Oh my God, 3 seconds. If Vorsic had managed to miss that shell from Warzy, it would have been game over because he had to check that right side. He basically couldn't be in a good enough position to get the reset and to be able to sit behind the IS3's hull.
Did come down to the wire though. No, it was very close there for Vorsic. A couple of seconds difference as said, but still, overall, ASAP coming out on top. This is quite a worrying sight here.
Yeah. We can see the big problem. The Armageddon goes down for nothing. Because Positive took so much damage from that classic position up on the hill, he's basically nowhere to be seen. He can't peek around the corners. He can't help his mate out there, so they lost the tier 8 tank already. Streko dies in the AMX-12T, and then you see ASAP just surging forwards. Vorsic just on the wrong reload cycle that he just can't help his team out in time, and when he does, he's got the IS3 to his right. So battle all over... move all over, and then Vilea does a great job against Positive.
Because right now, Vorsic's on reload as well. He's still got 30 seconds on this cycle going through. He still can't assist if they made a play then. So as you said, Vorsic maybe just a little out of time, a little, syncing just not quite up with the rest of his team then, and just, the small nuance is not quite in the right place for him, but still, a good attempt at the end, and you can kind of see this now.
Yeah, he's just going to run away. Being Amarak is a very, very bad position to be in when you're 1 versus 2 in an AMX 5100 with only 1 minute and 10 seconds left. I mean, super unlucky for Tornado, and I think Zik didn't help in the IS3 as well.
Yep.
Being behind that position, I think it was a little bit naive to think that ASAP wouldn't push, because they obviously would. They had the overmatch, they had more damage, they had more tanks, and Warzy, you know, just about has that angle to get him down. Does manage to hit it with 2 or 3 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, 3 seconds were left then as he fell, but still, that's the difference here. ASAP now 3-2. Nicely done to them, picking up the advantage here over Tornado Rocks. ASAP, however, still on the attack, going to have to make the most of this one. Let's see what they can bring to the play here as Tornado Rocks will be on the defense looking to stop them. And it looks like they're putting a little bit more resourcefulness towards that hill on the defending side.
Yeah, clearly...
Actually, tell a lie. No, they're not. The Ice-3s, I thought they were going to at least kind of go near it.
The attacking side, I mean, ASAP just looking towards to playing that hill a lot. I mean, ASAP has been super strange in their tactics. They've really been odd. So has Tornado, to be honest, and it's worked quite effectively. But immediately you see the IS-3 being spotted down south, and they just decide to turn back and head back to base. 2 5100s down there, so it's indicative that, you know, maybe Tornado, maybe they were thinking Tornado was going to go onto the hill. If they weren't there, simply head back down again. Nice little exchange there by Dawn catching out Streko. But I don't know. If I look at the positions from Tornado, I don't see really that much that can spot the 8 line. Apart from the Armageddon now going forwards, you're really in a perfect position. That's ASAP, just to push the 8 line and deal with the Armageddon. Because that 5100, as I said before, is in J1, kind of out of place. It's pretty quick, but if they do it quick enough, it could be game over. But it doesn't look like they're going for that option. It looks like they're going for that western side.
Yeah, and they look like they're going to try that one out. You can see the beautiful maxi map coming through, giving you an idea of what we're talking about there, as they will be traversing through the K line all the way down towards the south, the furthest line you can get, and maybe looking for other options here. There is an IS-3, a 5100, and one other waiting just towards his cap, though.
I think this is the wrong decision from ASAP. You can see Tornado from the very beginning are in pretty decent positions to take care of this. We'll have to see how this one works out. In my opinion, you very rarely win the brawl here. You're always going to go for that cap, and you've got Dawn in the T-37, which is fairly decent. Now, Warzy gets spotted, loses the exchange to the Annihilator, and that gives Tornado a great foresight into seeing, okay, ASAP are going to commit to this, and if they commit to this 100%, they better be sure that they win it.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. They've completely been readable in this move that they're making. They're being completely obvious with it as well. Everyone's almost spotted here on the ASAP side, finally, you know, going unspotted for a second, but Tornado Rocks are very well aware of what's going on here. You're already seeing an IS-3 down by that 8 line actually pushing around behind them, so that's going to be an issue further down the line. Everyone's starting to pull themselves across here, and big damage coming through towards Alexander, and you can see this already unfolding. Yeah,
you can see already 1.2 KHP in favor of Tornado, and I'm not sure if Negative is the greatest tank there, but looks like ASAP are folding onto the Annihilator.
Yeah, the Armageddon is working his way around. He was at IS-3 a little late to the party, but he's got himself a great spot here, keeping them pinned in. Positive coming around. The Annihilator tucked in the corner, going pretty low, but he's kept the attention there. They've taken down almost 2 tanks at the cost of himself. So if he can kind of weather the storm a little longer, it's perfect. But the brawl is certainly going to be coming into place here, and these tanks will be going head-to-head. Insane does take down Negative, but this is still looking very rough for ASAP. All of them solo.
They're all pretty much one-shots, and Tornado Rocks only have lost Negative in that 5100. Maybe a necessary loss, and I think Tornado will now be surging those IS-3s forwards, trying to finish this game off.
Yeah, they're going to have to be aggressive about this, be decisive, and let's see what they've got to bring to the plate, because you see them starting to swarm around. They want to take down Insane. Villiers still on good HP 1.1, but it's still not enough to really turn the tide, considering ASAP are still on the attack here and would still have to get the cap or all the kills.
Yeah, Positive just gets that shot for Warzy. That means he'll get the reload beforehand and be able to take him down nice and easy. Insane also falls team captain of ASAP going down. To be fair to ASAP, they have significantly got that hit points back towards something reasonable, but Villiers in a rock and a hard place now on the western side as Vorsic takes down Panasiri, and it's pretty much a matter of time.
It certainly is. Villiers now joining the rest on such low HP, down to 235, as Alexander is the last man alive in this. And systematically, Tornado Rocks have just dismantled ASAP, and whatever they tried just got a little bit outdone, and the obvious plays didn't really work out for them, as Tornado Rocks will bring it back even 3-3.
Yeah, you mentioned the most important fact. I think the 8 line would have been a nice point to push on, because they only had really 2 tanks and the overmatch would have come out. Streko wouldn't have been able to do much much. The 5100 was over towards the west side, but instead they decided to go for the western 1 to 3 line where the railroads are. Negative has got the perfect position, the Annihilator's got the perfect position, and Vorsic immediately retracts back towards where Zik is. And you'll see, I think, Alexander just taking 800 hit points as he crosses the road. And the Annihilator doing a great job. You just get some nice cross shots. The IS-3s as well heading towards the middle courtyard from Tornado Rocks. And pretty much ASAP just gets surrounded. Warzy does the best he can in that IS-3, but he was already lower hit points than the other IS-3s from Tornado. So it was really nicely executed defensive movement from Tornado.
Certainly was. Nicely done to them. I like the confidence of the IS-3s go around the back there. That really stood out to me. It just kind of well-rounded the strategy out towards the end. So, looking at going forward, though, do we think that we saw any sort of indication of, okay, this team's good on attack, this team's good on defense, or is it just they played okay where they were and it looked like Tornado Rocks played a little better in that final round?
I think ASAP has been the better team when they've been doing such strange tactics. They haven't been such a good team when they go for the normal kind of, oh, let's go towards the west side, like a Virtus Pro thing, like a really obvious tactic. They've always been good going forwards and trying unusual things, and I think if they continue doing that, it doesn't matter if they play the defense or the attack, they'll be able to pick up a couple more rounds here. Certainly
something to look towards. But Melly, people out there at home, how are they enjoying this game? How are the votes going?
Still backing up ASAP. 60% for Rocks is pretty clear, and yeah, maybe they knew better than we do. If we look on the actual entries of this vote, they predict more of a very, very clear ending, like a 5-2, 5-0, 5-1 for Rocks. But the community has been proven wrong once today already. So the second time, you never know. Even, I mean, our brains are basically melting as well.
That's very true. It's, you know, it's quite hard to predict on these teams. It's still quite early in the season, but I do believe the teams are ready. And let's get our attention turned to the second half here in the second map. We are at 3-3. ASAP now on the defense. Tornado Rocks on the attack. Let's see who's going to do this one the best here.
Yeah, so we've had the old switcheroo and ASAP on the defensive side. I think Tornado feel overall more comfortable on the attacking side and defensive. They look like that way against Virtus Pro. It's just Virtus Pro's super aggressive, strange style, which we saw in the previous round against Synergy, catching them out. But I think Tornado have their best chance of winning this. If they don't win this, I think it'll be a 4-4. And we'll look at the tiebreaker map, which is, of course, Ruinberg. That's a very, very good possibility right now, as these teams are looking very even, strangely enough. You know, ASAP just being unpredictable continuously. And to be fair, you know, looking at the last two results, they haven't looked like a top team. They look like a kind of DTQ/DRL kind of team for this season. But this one really proves that there is no DTQ or DRL team this season. They're all on par. And if they do step up on a particular day, they can even do damage to the likes of Supreme or Penta or Kazna Crew.
Or if you're Synergy, Virtus Pro. Anyway, looking at the way this one's panning out at the moment, Tornado Rocks being quite cautious here in comparison to the teams we've seen so far in the other rounds. Same with ASAP, to be honest. They haven't gone for that sheer aggression we've seen that kind of spilled throughout the rest of the map last time. Is this just them trying to work out how the opposition wants to play? Or are they just being a little bit more cautious here?
Well, first of all, they're not realizing that ASAP has been very hill-orientated in general. Now, this is the classic even 742 movement. You send up an AMX-12T and a 5100 behind. You use the 12T to spot something out. If there's something there, you pop the 5100 over and you get him to kill whatever is up there. Now, good move by Strecko. Immediately heads off the Dorf, the hill, and heads down Dorf, that's village, the Himmel, and heads down towards the rest of his team. Now, Tornado are in a great position right now. They have that western side. Now all they need is Strecko and the MX-12T to sit behind that building, and they're pretty much sorted for this match.
Well, you make it sound so simple when you say they're pretty much sorted if they do the last 5 things I say. Well, let's see if they do. I'm hoping that they pull something off here. I feel as though this could be settled in regular time if they are able to kind of get this one into the position they need to and really pull it forward. But ASAP looking still quite hesitant. They have no one around the 1 to 3 line here. We've got a couple of tanks across the D-line, and I've not really seen people deal as well with this sort of play towards that western side without at least maybe one tank towards the north.
Well, the thing is, ASAP is expecting a push up the 8 line. They've got so many tanks there.
Yeah.
A little bit surprised. I mean, okay, that makes sense, actually. The AMX 5100 on the hill kind of keeps that, I guess, C to A area clear. I would have expected an IS-3 up there, but now the cap is underway from 2 tanks and Strecker behind that building. To be fair, ASAP had plenty of time to actually get tanks back into this position. They probably should have, since they didn't spot anything from the hill. And now Tornado are looking a very, very good position. And Insane, really the only one to try and battle this one off, though. You have the IS-3 in the background to give him a little bit of support.
And Tornado Rocks have so much time to get themselves in good positions, get comfortable, get themselves looking in the right direction. The cap is already down to 14 seconds, bearing in mind. And it's going to be a time until ASAP can really make that counter move to actually stop this. Vilea and Alexander towards the north are trying to breach, trying to find an angle, try to get towards that train yard, but they're a long way off still. Strecko's got cover, Positive still there, Zik still there, and the base cap has come in, but no, finally a reset comes through. But that was so down to the wire.
And that was unbelievably close. That was actually a reset onto Positive, so still Strecko has most of it. Now they need to defend Strecko.
Let's see if they can. I think he's going to be in trouble pretty soon. The tanks are getting into position, but Panassin almost overextending there. We've seen that if you're a good player in the position Positive and Zik are, you can truly do work in this spot. But still, we are seeing that clock being wound back, and finally the pressure going towards Tornado Rocks.
Yeah, this is back and forward. Tornado don't have the advantage they had initially, but Vorsic is going to get into that battle, pestered from behind by Dawn, though.
Yeah, Dawn going to be a good factor in this. Good just sustained damage, but there's Alexander finding Armageddon. Actually, looking at Tornado Rocks, they're going pretty low here. Insane comes in towards Positive, and one by one, actually, ASAP are holding on to this. The cap is surely not even a point at the moment. Dawn is constantly being the pressuring point. There's Vilea coming in, and this has just gone on its head. Look at this play from ASAP. That is brilliantly done. Retaking the final moments here. Warzy is pretty much a sitting duck at this point, but he can buy time, he can pressure Zik, and he can do what he needs to. He even got a shell on the way out. So looking at this now, Tornado Rocks are down to 3 tanks, but with 1.5k HP. ASAP have a hell of a lot of tanks alive and have 2.8.
I'll be very surprised if ASAP don't win this one. I mean, they got double the hit points, they got double the tanks almost, and very, very close to winning this match. I think you'll see Vilea just trying to take one of the tanks down here, and Zik really left on his own against CFAS as well.
And it looks like this one is going to be swept aside pretty easily. ASAP going to get themselves on towards that match point. They're going to be on the 4-3 here. Tornado Rocks just getting swept aside again. I am so surprised. Once again, those resets coming in at these sort of timers. It was less than a second left on that, and the reset did come in. But credit to ASAP, after that, they actually locked down the game so well. Yeah,
I mean, unbelievable. I thought this was a guaranteed win, considering the positions of those IS-3s were so far away from the tanks. But I think Positive was in the cap first, so he had the most capping points, or maybe Strecko was hit. But this is the point. It's either Positive or Strecko that gets hit on the reset. You got about 8 seconds left, but you can see how far away ASAP is. They're not even close to this cap, and Insane just heads around. Strecko, really dodgy shot.
Who is it? Who lands it?
Yeah, it's Positive. Now that's the problem. Positive has all the cap, and it's very easy to hit. Gets reset, and it's game over. More often than not, if you get reset at 0, or if you get reset at all, you're going to lose that game, because you put all your resources into the cap and you're sitting ducks if you don't actually manage to do it successfully. And of course, they're learning that lesson that round.
Definitely did. And then from that moment onwards,
then ASAP have tanks surrounding Tornado missing so many shells, Negative doing a bad job trying to snipe out, and ASAP hitting the shells with the IS-3s at distance. These two, the Annihilator and Negative, just simply don't do enough damage for their positions, and it definitely doesn't help. I think one of them should have been further back, maybe providing some support from behind, catching ASAP by surprise.
Well, it is going to be the one and only ASAP getting themselves onto match point here. One more round to play out on Himmelsdorf. If they win that round, they win the game. If they lose it, we go to overtime. That's how it works. And by overtime, we mean the next map. It's going to be Ruinberg, if I'm not mistaken, to be the decider. One round, you either win or you lose. Simple as that. But your prediction on this one? One final round, where are you going?
It's been back and forwards so far.
I'll buy you a beer. There's a beer on the line.
It's been back and forwards. You know, ASAP's run around, Tornado's come back. ASAP's run around, Tornado's come back. Tornado's gone around, ASAP's come back. So if I was going to go on that trend, I would say we're going to a tiebreaker.
You reckon? All right. So he reckons we're seeing Ruinberg. You guys in chat, type whatever you feel is going to be the result of this one. Will it be 4-4? Or will it be 5 and we are done and dusted? You let us know. And here we go into the final map here. Quite possibly if ASAP do actually pick it up. Let's find out what they can do, as they are the ones on the defending side. Tornado Rocks in the attack. They've got all the work to kind of pull this one off. And what do we see so far? If
I was Tornado Rocks, I'll be down in the trenches now. I'll be down in the ditches, because they should have won that last round. For all intents and purposes, they had won it. But it just depends how much mental stamina they have. You know, losing 5-4 against Virtus Pro, a good result for Tornado, and now almost being bested by ASAP, a team that hasn't won a match so far in the season. I mean, we're at week 3 now. It should have won maybe even one. But we'll see what Tornado does, what they have in mind. They've got a lot of resources up towards the cap. Maybe we'll see that old Dawn plus, it was Alexander last time, head up the hill with a 5100 and try and find something there. But Tornado just need to kind of get themselves settled, get themselves sorted, and ASAP just need to stand their ground, make sure they have all the T's crossed and the I's dotted, and they should just about be able to hold on, but it's anyone's game right now.
Oh, it's so up in the air. No one's really made that big play. No one's put their cards out on the table. It's just, all right, let's use the first 2 minutes to kind of, you know, find the ground, find where the opponents are, learn as much as we can, and try and get ourselves in towards any sort of advantageous position. But it takes time, it takes patience, and caution as well at this point. These boys, you know, even though we may say, you know, they should be picking up wins by this point, we still know we are referencing some of the best players in the world here. These guys play at the top tier percentile. You know, you've got people like Positive. You've got so many big players in these lineups. It's you can't underestimate them. Vorsic as well, a classic. So at the moment, looking at Tornado Rocks on paper, they are by far such a big team to come into this.
And maybe they've actually underestimated ASAP there as well. I mean, that's always a factor.
It's always a factor, yeah, for sure. You know, these guys are renowned as, you know, quite big players in the game, so it probably is quite easy for them to try and think they're too good for this game almost.
Exactly. It's always a big factor. Streko loses that engagement. I believe a couple of shells actually come from Dawn there. You can see obviously on your minimap there, Tornado are very hill orientated. I think that's a good move, because they'll come out nicely behind ASAP. Probably won't manage to take down Dawn. And you've also got the double IS3s. I mean, those double IS3s are necessary, because if they don't get spotted, if ASAP's not seeing them, then they're like, well, where are you? You're probably you're probably on the hill at the end of the day, maybe towards the west side, but you've got 3 tanks there covering that position. So it would be too obvious, and it's all about if those IS3s can actually get into the game, as Dawn does get to the spot and pushes off. But he's only spotted the MX-12T, so he's got to be careful. He doesn't know that Tornado actually has a lot more there.
Oh, I think he just spotted No, there you're absolutely spot on. He doesn't know any of them are there.
Nope.
Finally gets a little bit of information towards Vorsic, so the alarm bells will start ringing, but the IS3s have started to get into position. Dawn just about makes it away in time, but let's see if ASAP can weather the storm. What do we make of the play so far from Tornado?
ASAP must have a good plan for this one. Valeria in the IS3, misses that shell, actually bounces it, finally does manage to land it actually, but Negative coming around from the side, and these two are going to be doing an extraordinary amount of damage in a short time.
Oh, but Warzy's there helping out as well, so they're at least spreading out the damage a little bit, but Valea is completely out of this fight. He cannot help them out here, and that's allowed Vorsic to take down Warzy, and one by one, Tornado Rocks again the advantage. These 3 tanks are outnumbered, outgunned, and well, this is looking like another Tornado Rocks round. I think you're right on this one.
Yeah, they're just going to go back and forwards. I think it's very hard for ASAP to get into this game. These 2 tanks, Panettiere and Cephas, were so late to the party, and you'll now see Tornado try and surge forward and finish off at least Panettiere.
And he's going to achieve that. Tornado Rocks keeping all the tanks alive. Coming into this one, meaning business. Dawn, Cephas, and Insane, the last 3 alive, and they're surrounded already. Everyone knows their position. There's no running, there's no hiding, and the Annihilator just going to deliver that shell to kind of almost seal the deal as Dawn and Insane try and do some work towards Positive. But while all that happens, the rest of Tornado Rocks are on the way.
Yeah, the cavalry will soon arrive. Vorsic coming in now. He's got to be careful, though. He could one-shot him, but Insane is left alone.
Yeah, and Insane will fall, and Dawn, the one man, at the start of this game and at the end. 15 seconds until the cap is completed, and he knows his job here is done. Nice little shot towards Vorsic, but sadly, there's nothing he can do in this one. We are going to be going into that final map here. We're going into Ruinberg. This is going all the way. And can you imagine if Tornado Rocks lose in overtime again? We're going to find out. Vorsic does close it, and we are at 4-4. So one more map coming up still, but let's look back into that one. What worked out so well then for Tornado Rocks?
You could see how fast Tornado came off that hill. They channeled themselves nicely up and towards that corridor. Then it was a 4 versus 3 situation. I mean, Zavika, I think it was, went down very quickly, unbelievably quickly. It wasn't Zavika, I don't think it was, but it was. I think it was one of the IS3s there. Vorsic took him down, and then 2 versus 4, those two fell, and then you could see eventually Tornado as ASAP actually in the game. You can see those two 5100 surging forwards. You got the IS3 there as well, but 4 versus 1, it's game over at the end of the day. Panasarian tries to do something hill, but at the end of the day, when you're coming off the hill so quickly, ASAP has no chance to respond. And if you've got one tank, even one tank in the middle, played by I believe Positive, you can't even make it across because it's going to be distracting you. It's going to be a thorn in your side.
Everything was in the right place then. Absolutely everything was in the right place for those guys in that moment. And you can see that this is why we talk about Tornado Rocks like they are a good team, because they can just do that. They can just step up the game, add a little more pressure, and then go to town. But still, this means we're going to Ruinberg.
Yeah.
So this is going to the final map here. We're going all the way. Melly, your thoughts on this one? Coming up, final game,
Oh wow,
final map.
I think ASAP made it this far, so they're going to take the cake.
You reckon?
Hopefully.
I kind of want
mean,
to see it. I just want to be able to say, you know,
just for the sake of it.
and the best fact is, can you imagine if Tornado Rocks losing overtime like 2 games in a row, like
It was
had
so
the
depressing.
advantage and then
Overtime losers.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
not
much.
a good title there.
It's awful, but it's hilarious. Considering there's such good players as well. That's the thing. Like, you look at the caliber of player they have.
Yeah.
It's like
You're talking about players from Mind, you're talking about players from Arcade Esports, we're talking about players from Synergy, original Synergy.
It's unreal. You shouldn't lose games like this.
Yeah.
But they kind of are. So we'll find out. We're just going to be waiting on the teams to get ready for that final map coming up. But Melly, if people want to get their thoughts just on this one through to us, how can they do so?
Hashtag WGLEU, hashtag rocks, hashtag ASAP if you want to make it more specific. If you want to search for those hashtags, you will see live updates with which we're providing you guys at home if you can't watch the stream. So following our Twitter account is always a good idea to keep updated, to stay updated during the match days. If you have to do something more important like lying in the sun, enjoying a cold beverage. And yeah, that's pretty much how you can get involved. And of course over Facebook.
That's what we like to hear. Get involved. Get those thoughts through. Give us your feedback. How do you think the day's been? Are we going to see another upset? We've already had the biggest upset that you could imagine. You know, Virtus.pro losing out to Synergy already.
Yeah.
And now we might
Ridiculous.
see Tornado Rocks losing out to ASAP.
Yeah.
Like,
to be fair, right now they're on course because, as I said before, it's been 1-1 to 1-1. So Tornado
should
just
be
won around, and now ASAP should come back and win this round. But having said that, when they played against Virtus.pro, they did so well on Ruinberg. This should be their map for Tornado.
Do we know who's going to attack or defend?
Such a good
The
point.
team with the fastest attacking round will pick the side they start on. So ASAP will defend.
Okay. So do we think ASAP's been playing well in defense so far?
I don't know. To be fair, they've just been so crazy. I've actually no clue. But I would definitely prefer to be the defender on Ruinberg because you can just pick IS3s and 5100s and put them up in towards that eastern village. As long as you have that northern cap somewhat covered by like a 12T or 5916 or T37, you're okay. It's a lot easier of a job. But again, I think Tornado won 2 rounds on this one on the attack. I'm not sure. Do excuse me if I get that one wrong, but I don't know. This is still anyone's game. Tornado are a good attacking team, but I just think ASAP have the advantage right now.
I hope they do. I'd like to see ASAP pick this one up. We are just waiting on the teams to get ready. They just want to, I don't know, take their time, toilet break. Who knows? So it's not us holding the game up. It is the teams. We do apologise. It'll be there when it's ready. Of course, they just need their time. But still, yeah. Last game. I don't know really if we can even relate the back and forwards thing. Like then you say momentum, right? You have to bring in that momentum theory, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, surely the momentum's with Tornado Rocks, but it's been back and forwards the whole game. Can it even translate like that? And then the next question for you is, what if one of these teams pulls off a Hail Mary? Just kind of does like a crazy aggressive play, you know? Does a Virtus Pro, decides just to go push somewhere. Could it work?
I think Tornado does have to do that. I think they have to go all in. I'm not sure. I just think if I was ASAP, I would just be playing the long game, you know? Just pick the right tanks, keep yourself sorted, keep yourself tidied away, keep yourself squared away into that Eastern Village and wait it out. And I think the only way to counter that is by taking that Eastern Village, be aggressive into that Eastern Village, and making sure you can play around those corners, or maybe even go all the way up north. But again, the problem with the gamble up north is that you're always going to be in that situation where if they get one reset, you've almost certainly lost the game. Yeah. So it's a do or die situation, which you don't want to be in when you're actually on a tiebreaker round, on a tiebreaker position. It's
very true. And tiebreakers bring out, you know, the nerves here. And Tornado Rocks, you would argue, are probably the more experienced team with players and, you know, along those sort of lines. ASAP, a little greener to the WGLEU, but you know, it goes out the window sometimes for teams just having a good day. But Melly, you know, out of any of the Twitch chat, is there anyone, you know, supporting these teams, making a prediction? What are these guys predicting for this final game? Do they know who's going to win it, do you think?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest. I think their view on the World of Tanks word has been shaken enough today, and they're getting cautious when it comes to prediction this way. But if I look into the chat where community members are exchanging their thoughts, a lot of people actually think that ASAP can win this.
As I said before, they have the defense around Ruinberg. I mean, Season 5 was 50-50, but I think ASAP have a really good chance right now.
Well, let's hope so. I think the teams are in the final stages of preparation. I can imagine they're at the whiteboard, you know, drawing out the strategies, not just on the toilet getting a cup of tea. So hopefully they have sorted themselves out, and we'll get this one started up soon for you. I do apologize for the wait. Once again, the teams just need that little break to get themselves prepared for the final map. Of course, this is the final game of the day, and we've been enjoying this one from start to finish. It's been a bit of a cracker.
Yep.
A lot of upsets, a lot of surprises, and it'd be good to finish off on one as well. So are you going to stick with ASAP picking this up?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with ASAP.
I agree. We'll find out, though. We are live into this one, ladies and gents. Let's get ready for this one. And it will be ASAP, as noted, on the defending side. Tornado Rocks on the attack. Anything very indicative of a big move coming out, or is this fairly standard?
It looks pretty standard. Looks like Tornado going for the 0-line push. Good to see ASAP has stuck to something pretty reliable. 2 IS-3s, 2 50-100s. 3 IS-3s, 2 50-100s, 2 T-54s, and T-37. So I think that's going to work out very well for them. Of course, I wouldn't be surprised if Tornado knew that. Maybe one of the reasons why they've gone for that AMX 1390, but they got themselves into a good position, sacrificed that middle spot, but they are guessing I say, ASAP is in the Eastern Village, and well, we'll see how it works out. Previously, we saw, I think in the game, one of the games earlier, I think it was Ruinberg, where we saw, no, it was Ruinberg, it was Ding versus Strink, where once they had that 0-line as the attackers, they could get great shots onto tanks that were pushing forwards and actually trying to get the reset. So at the moment, actually, Tornado are in a good position.
They really are. If it works out in the way it did before, in that sort of theory of unfolding and holding the peaking angles to stop the cap, this is absolutely fantastic. However, whether or not that's the case, we're going to find out. The damage already coming in towards the cap, though, says no. And this is different. We had a 1v1 here before, and last time it did not go this way. We've got Palestine and Villia taking on positive here in towards the main city area. We're seeing the tanks splitting up over the cap. The Annihilator's down low. He might have just done enough. He needs to back up a little, but great work towards the center of the map. And slowly but surely, ASAP are gaining control here.
Great little pick up there. Positive was in a pretty obvious position, and ASAP knew they needed to take him down to be able to actually sort out that right side. Now they're pushing forward and trying to find Zik.
Yeah, this is going very nicely so far for them. Dawn may go down here. He's a little weak, but still, they're holding the numbers. 4.6k against 4.5, but it's getting closer. And here we go. This is a battle we need to see. Insane up against Zik. We've got the support of Alexander coming in, but the cross shots from that 0-line are coming into practice, and we know how much that hurts, and Alexander cannot make the shot. Zik with the beautiful jukes, dragging him round, but can he allow for damage? Yes, the Annihilator comes in. Alexander gets picked up, and that is exactly what Zik wanted. And look at this. Zik leading leading them into a trap, and he will take down Insane. And if ASAP let this slip, they can blame no one but themselves.
Such bad play there by Insane. He didn't block it off, so Alexander couldn't make the shot against Zik, and that cost both of their lives for absolutely nothing. Now ASAP trailing significantly as those T-54s that took down Positive try and crawl something back here, but it's looking very bad.
It is looking rather bleak here now for ASAP. They've let this slip. It's gone through their fingertips, and now they're trying to pick up the Annihilator, Armageddon, who's tucked in very nicely towards that Crescent Moon line, but Panacin taken one by Vorsic, and one by one they're getting lower and lower, and now Vilea has been caught out. Vorsic finds him. We're down to 2, and one by one they fell, and this has been a disaster for ASAP. Panacin is going to go down. He's a one-shot here, a negative dealt with his teammate, and here we go. Final blow comes in, and Tornado Rocks close it out. ASAP, you let that one slip. You can't blame anyone but yourselves for that.
No, it all came down to Alexander and Insane going forwards. Insane, the team captain, up north, and basically going into the guns of Tornado Rocks' AMX 1390. Also, there's another tank there. I'm not sure exactly what it was. No, it was Warzy. Warzy also falls, so they lose 3 tanks.
So
three of their tier 8 tanks. I mean, this is just terrible. And Insane not playing very well to tunnel visioning. I think Dawn also falls. It was Dawn, not Alexander. It was Alexander. Alexander must have been there. Dawn dies as well. So they lose so much up north for Zik. Why? There's no reason for this. They're getting shells from behind. They're getting shells from every single direction. They should have just maintained that eastern village, kept an eye on those T-54s, made sure that Tornado can't just drive across that middle road and go for the T-54s, and they would have been fine. But instead, they lose 3 tier 8 tanks for nothing, and that gives Tornado Rocks what they need to push on and win.
I'd be so angry if I was an ASAP fan that they just couldn't handle it in that final round. But still, today's games have been pretty phenomenal. I think that sums up pretty nicely what we've had. And Melly, the people at home must have been enjoying that. You know, people were backing Tornado Rocks, you know, after a little bit. You know, they actually backed ASAP to start with. Yeah. And it turned around.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw amazing matches, and I hope that the VODs will be up very soon to everyone that just missed those insane matches today. We saw Virtus Pro lose. Yeah, that's I was trying to phrase it like more friendly or more diplomatic, but they lost 5-1. But yes, people, thank you very much for getting involved, and don't forget to share the tweets and the posts on Facebook for this poster. I will consider every share and retweet until midnight today, and after that this giveaway will be closed and the poster will be shipped to its lucky new owner, hopefully. And yeah, thank you for getting involved.
And I've just got to sum up the final part of this. Daki said, the Killzor said on Twitter, that was the first game in 2 seasons Virtus Pro lost an online game.
Yeah.
2 seasons. Yeah. That is massive. That is absolutely huge. But today's Playday has been brilliant from start to finish. Here are the results. In case you missed it, these are the VODs you need to go back and watch. Ding against Strong. Well, I've got to say it, Ding just looked better, well-rounded. They looked strong, they looked smart, and they looked like they had a plan. Following that, probably the highlight of my season so far, the pure anti-strat game. And to round off, Tornado Rocks against ASAP.
The closest one, of course, was that last one, back and forwards. And at the end, I think the inexperience of ASAP just let it slip a little bit, and they managed to give Tornado enough of an advantage to exploit. And I feel so sorry for ASAP because they were in the driving seat then.
Well, broken hearts aside and shattered dreams, we have to look towards the next Playday and the next hopeful teams. We'll be kicking this off on the 2nd of July, of course, at the same time. And to start with, Utopia up against Penta. Following that, No Mercy up against Team Supreme. And we're going to get the glimpse of ASAP again with possibly another heartbreaking game against Kazna.
I think my game of that day is No Mercy versus Supreme, because I think if No Mercy managed to get themselves sorted after that Strink game, I think it could be fairly close. So I don't know. I think all those games are going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I just like watching Team Supreme, if I'm honest. Those guys make it look good. So, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure here with you guys joining us for the WGLEU. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's show, and if you have, make sure you hit that follow button down below on Twitch so you're notified every single time we go live. Head over towards Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of that good stuff, and get involved. Guys, we'll see you next time.